What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another day in a car mechanic simulator with me, the virtual mechanic, and today's project, the stunning little Mark II Volkswagen Golf. This thing is a little beauty. This is the Rocket Bunny edition extra wide body kit on this one, looking pretty beautiful, and it currently has a beast of an i3 engine in it, I believe. Let's just double check engine. Yeah, i3 double overhead cam turbocharged engine. We are going to swap it out to the i4 double overhead cam BFM engine. This is the one French Toast actually wanted me to pit in the Pontiac a few episodes ago. So we're going to put this one in today and see what kind of power we can get out of that i4 BFM engine. He does say it is the most powerful out of all of these. So we were going to check that out later, see what power we can actually get out of that. Quite ironic, he did suggest maybe swapping this one to a V12. I may do that in the future. That would be absolutely incredible, a V12 Golf, but it's not what we're going to work on today. One more little shop update. I finally updated my pin board with the competition of the Bolt Cargo winner. Well done to Pi and Newton for getting that one done. The new competition is up and running of the Bolt Supernova. That one, entries have to be in by tomorrow, Tuesday the 14th at 11:59 p.m. Then a 24-hour voting period. The winner will be announced on Friday on Discord and then on my channel on the following Monday with a new pinboard placement on here. This will be slightly smaller with two vehicles on here showing the two winners. Brilliant. Let's get into this. Let's get this Golf over to the car wash and let's get it cleaned up. Here we are then at the car wash with a little Golf. It does look like there's green under there, but let's get it cleaned and see what colour it actually is. Beautiful little Golf. So bigger fan of the Mark 1. Oh, it is like a bluey green sort of colour. I do quite like that colour. I don't know what you'd call that. Maybe like a teal colour. Looking pretty sweet though. Let's get the interior done. That didn't want to work. Let's get the interior done and get it back on the lift. Get that i3 engine ripped out, ready to swap out for the i4. First off, let's give it a check for the oil pan. There is an oil pan there, so let's get that drained out completely empty before we start stripping anything. Very dirty oil there. Quite a bit of it as well, so let's get you put away. Let's get in under here and start getting some bits removed. What do we need to take out? Gearbox, which means drive shaft, which means drive axles, which means wheels. So I'm going to crack on and get all of these wheels off and the drive shafts out. I'll see you in a second. That's the wheels and the drive shafts out. Let's get in and grab this starter. I'm glad we can grab it from underneath. Don't have to come in from the top. And now the gearbox on here as well. Out you come. Nice and easy. There we go. Let's grab the engine crane and get this engine ripped out. Then we'll start stripping down at that engine bay, hopefully. Let's have a look and see where we end up. Oh, no. I've got to remove the front exhaust section of B. Let's have a look. Probably from underneath. Yes, of course it is. Let's go and get that one out. Just this big long one heading on in underneath there. We need to have grabbed that one out. I missed it. So let's try that again. Second time lucky. Here we go. Nice. There's better. Out you come. And let's get the engine crane put away. And then let's see what we've got going on this in this engine bay. Obviously, we've got the battery in there, coolant reservoir, power steering reservoir, windscreen washer, the brake servo, a beautiful air intake, fuse box hiding behind here as well, along with the radiator and fan housing. So I need to get all the liquids drained out of these, so let's crack on with that. Additional tools, drain tool, click and hold. That's all the liquids drained. Let's start ripping these out. Let's get all of these liquid reservoirs out first. Out you come, out you come, and out you come. Let's grab the radiator fan housing and the radiator along with that battery. And we'll get underneath this air intake. Clips off. Has it got all four? There's number 3. And there's number 4. Nice. Off with the cover. Out with the air filter. And out with the base. Then we've just got the fuse box cover here. And all of the fuse boxes inside. I'm going to strip all of them out in just a moment. But let's take a quick look at the suspension setup. Obviously, we know we've got the front drive axles in there. I can see the bearings in there as well. That's looking pretty complete. Got the sway bar end link and the inner and outer tie rods. Let's head over to the other side. I mean, both wheels are on, so that's normally a good sign. Inner and outer tie rod, sway bar end link, and the wheel bearing as well. Let's move down the back. Let's get these rear wheels off. See what we've got going on under here. Have a look. See, disc brakes like that, and then it's looks like the GTR setup. Lots of arms, lots of bits of rubber bushings and stuff like that. But again, it all looks pretty complete. We'll have to strip it down before we can find out, obviously. I'm going to get this fuel pump out while I'm here. go and strip the rest of that fuse box. Let's get this other wheel off very quickly first. Out you come, and see if this side looks complete. It's looking pretty complete. All the bushings, both bushings are in. We've got the sway bar rear end link, all the bars, all the support arms and stuff like that. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to get the rest of this fuse box out. Then I'll get the suspension stripped off, and then we'll start stripping down that i3 engine, swapping it out for an i4. That's everything mechanical stripped off the Golf. Let's go and strip down that engine, throwing the battery on charge en route. Even though we are swapping this one out, I do want to give it a strip down and see what's going on underneath. So let's start just jumping into it. Off with the tensioner, off with the belt and the rollers and some of the other bits underneath here. Out you come. Nothing too special on this one. Again, I don't really think I've worked on many i3 engines in this game. So let's just crack on with it and see where we end up. Off with the throttle. Out you come. And then off with this intake manifold. Yeah, off you go. Nice and easy on that one. And then off with the engine head cover. 4 bolts on that one. Nice and simple. Fuel rail and double overhead cam there. Looking pretty sweet. Nice and easy one to get rid of. Get rid of that fuel rail. Let's get rid of the big old turbocharger over here. With 1 rusty bolt. Out you come. Thank you. Goodbye. And that looks about it. Let's get this timing cover off now. Out you come. 2 cam gears and a timing belt. Not a timing chain. A serpentine belt. Fair enough. Wasn't quite expecting that. Out you come. Off with the cam gears. And I'll get all of this under here stripped out. All of these camshaft caps. All of these ignition coils, get these out as well, along with the camshaft. We'll get the head off and we'll take a look at the pistons. Here we go, engine head just coming off now. Let's get this engine rotated, nice and easy. Oh, I missed a roller. Let's grab you off of there and then grab that oil pan out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's have a look, just a straight inline 3. Quite nice to look at. 2 camshaft bearings and obviously 3 rod caps on there. Let's grab the fuel filter. I'm going to get the rest of this all stripped out now. Obviously, I don't have anything to repair from this engine. It's all going to be replaced. I'm going to scrap it all off and earn the scrap value from it. So I need to go buy everything I need for the i4 engine. I will see you in just a little while. But next up, we will be stripping down that beautiful bodywork, getting it all repaired and replaced before we head over to the paint shop. Lots of things bought. I think I've got everything I need to build the i4 BFM engine, but it is now time to strip this beautiful Mark II Golf body down. Let's just start off with the front fenders. Let's get this all cleared up down here. I don't know what's on there. That's a nice car part. Okay. Front fender off, windscreen out, door out. We know we're missing a mirror. That's pretty good. Rear fender, off you come. Let's get that rear bumper out. 1 light and 1 set of tail lights already out. Let's grab the other one. Rear fender, and that's possibly everything. Is that part of something? That's just where the battery goes. Let's have a look. I think that might be it. Let's just grab what's in this interior out as well. Out with the steering wheel. The bench seat is part of the car. So that's pretty good. Let's have a double check, see if we got everything. Already on the right screen. Yes, I have got absolutely everything. I don't know what I was checking there earlier, but I wanted to see that down to 1%. Frames at 49% is not too bad, and interior down to 25%. That's everything out, so we'll get the frame sorted out now. Now, I didn't really talk about how much I bought this car for at the beginning. I paid $18,409, and I was $2,600 out of profit. So we already know we got a bad deal. But just to give you a rough price, $18,409. I reckon this is going to cost $1,600, $500. Still pretty bad at this. Never mind. Let's get that going. And then I've got to repair some body panels, buy some body panels, see what's ready to go back on this. One thing we never did was check out the shop. So let's go and have a look at the body shop for this. Now, this was all modded in by Lit. He's done a fantastic job as per normal. We got a couple of front bumper options here, a couple of grille options here. Car parts 1 and 2, I don't know what they are yet. We'll figure that one out a bit later. A few different fenders, obviously the wide body fenders, that's what we're going to be going for. A couple of different hoods, some light options, a few different rear bumpers, and again, the wide body rear bumpers. So we'll be going for the wide body there, and a few other little bits. So not looking too bad. Only 3 pages on this shop, very easy to stay on top of. You can't go too far wrong. So yeah, I'm going to get some bits repaired, buy what we don't need. I'll see you back here in a minute. Let's get this body back together before we head over to the paint shop. I did manage to repair quite a bit of it, if I'm being honest. Let's just start getting a few of these bits on. Obviously, I had to buy all the windows and them wing mirrors. They weren't there, but I did manage to repair the fenders. The wide body on there, looking pretty sweet. Let's get the rest of this front end back together. I did keep the front bumper. I did have to buy a new grille, though. I bought this front end here. And also, we got the Part 2 grille surround. And I had to buy new headlights, so I went for the tinted ones because they look pretty cool there. I'm quite happy with that. The rest of this body kit, let's get you on. I had to buy a new door on this side. Let's throw this all on. On you go, on you go, on you go. The wide body kit on the back there. Rear window in. I had to buy a new trunk. And I did buy new rear tail lights. I went for the Bs, although I can't really see much difference between the Bs or the As. Car part 1 is up here. It's just a little spoiler with the little brake light on it there. And I did swap the rear bumper out to a slightly different one. I went for that look on there. That's pretty much all of that on the exterior, just a license plate to go. I went for a retro black UK style plate with the Virtual Mechanic Volkswagen Golf written on it. Quite happy with how that turned out. Let's get some interior in. Now I have swapped the interior. That's not the right button. That's what I was aiming for. In the interior, I have, you can see I've just done a test fit there. I went for the 370Z seats, the Nismo seats, because I like them. They look pretty sweet. And the steering wheel out on there, just to give it a bit more of that modern sort of racer-style flair. I think that looks pretty cool on the inside. And the bodywork's looking pretty epic. But let's head over to the paint shop and see if Lit included any wonderful liveries for this Volkswagen Golf. Sadly, there are no liveries with this one, unfortunately. But here is the colour I've gone for. It's this lovely sort of teal, very, very, very light blue. It is a matte finish, slightly custom. I've edited it ever so slightly to make it custom. Quite happy with that. I'm unsure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to try and white everything out under here. White and red, I think, is a combination to go for on this one. Maybe a few bits of black, and we don't even know how that engine is going to fit in there yet. So this could be a little bit of fun trying to figure this one out. But yeah, probably going to just try and white most of the stuff out. White rims on there. Things like that. A white underside in the suspension. Splashes of black, splashes of splashes of red, and maybe a few splashes of this teal colour if we can get it down there. Unsure yet, though, so I'm going to get this back on the lift, a few bits painted, and then I'll meet you back over there in a minute for reassembly of the suspension. I've got everything painted. I think it looks pretty good. Let's take a look at the shocks. So I've got the main shock in white and the spring in the teal colour. Obviously, with that black cap, it looks pretty sweet on there. Quite happy with that. I've got a few whites, a few bits of teal, and that's about it on the front end. But let's start getting a few bits on. I've already put some of the bits on that can't be painted, so let's get this cross member on. I've done the front cross member in a white, just to sort of give a splash of colour in here. Should be able to see it through the engine bay as well. Lower suspension arm, I've done that in the sort of like tealy blue colour, because why not? We want some splashes of that up here anyway. And then the shock, obviously, in that white with the blue tealy sort of spring on there, looking pretty cool. Let's get the end link on. On you go, and then on with the brake caliper, which is in teal, and I think looks absolutely fantastic. Colour matching is pretty sweet on that one. That's about all we can do at the front end. We've got, obviously, the drive axle to go on and the main axle on the front there going through. But let's move down the back. As you see, I've got a few bits on. The rear cross member, I have done that one in teal, not in white, just to sort of give a splash of a bit more teal down the back here. I didn't want all the arms in teal, so I've just done them like that. Let's throw on this shock. I've just done that one in black because, you know, a black shock absorber at the back there. And then the main arms are all pretty much in this white colour. So let's just crack on and throw all of these in. In you go, under you go. On there like that. Let's get the sway bar in as well. I forgot that one along with the sway bar end link. Pop you in. Nice. In you go. Let's move around to the other side. The rear suspension arm, obviously, again, just in the white. And then white on the upper suspension arm there. On you go. The spring cap is in white as well. And then the spring is in teal. Look at that. Looking pretty nice. And then the shock cap can't be painted. The caliber, again, is in the lovely teal colour, looking absolutely beautiful. And then at the rear here, you get the hubcaps. I've done them in teal as well, because why not? Looking pretty awesome. Quite happy with the colour mix we've got going on at the back, and a little bit extra at the front there. I'm going to get the other side finished. Then we're going to get on and build all of this wonderful engine bay up, ready for the new engine to go in. We've got to build that afterwards. I'll see you in a bit. There we have it, white, teal, and a splash of black in the suspension. Looking absolutely fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What would you have swapped? Would you have kept it a very similar colour to what I've gone there? Or would you have mixed it up a little bit more? But now we need to move in and get this engine bay finished. I forgot to pick up my battery, I've just remembered. So let's get some of these reservoirs in before we have to go back and grab that battery in a bit. All of them in there. Let's get the radiator and the radiator housing in, or fan housing in. On you go there. Yeah, so now air filter base. I have done this in white because the inside of this engine bay is pretty teal, so we want a bit of white in here. On you go, on you go, and on you go. The clips, though, I've done them in red just for a little bit of splash of extra colour up in this engine bay. I think they look pretty awesome myself. There is a little splash of red on the engine as well, which you will see shortly. And this fuse box is also in the white. Very hard to see anything inside it, so I'm going to struggle to get all of these in. I'll get this finished. I'll go grab that battery. We'll have a look at it complete before we go and build the new i4 engine. The one that's meant to be the powerful one out of the i4s. We'll find that one out for ourselves in a little while. Everything in, including the battery now, so let's have a look. That's looking pretty sweet. I do quite like the whites. As I say, you can see that cross member from inside the engine bay, matching with all the whites, obviously the teal body, looking incredible. But let's go and build this i4 engine. This is the BFM engine. This is what we are swapping it to. I have already built it, so I know I've got everything, but let's start throwing it in. The main engine block is in a black because it wouldn't take any other colours. I'll be honest, I wanted to do it white, but it just wasn't working. So let's get these in. I'll get the crankshaft in, and now I'll get all the pistons, piston rings, all the rod caps, and the crankshaft bearings in as well, along with that clutch. I'll meet you back by the top end in just a few moments. Okay, then let's start assembling some of these bits. Let's get the front end on. So on with the alternator in its chrome, and the power steering pump in the teal, just for a splash of that. This is also officially painted teal, but it does stay mainly blue apart from the rim. Got the water pump also in teal, looking lovely. And then an idle roller just on the front here for good measure. Let's get the engine head on. Now that is white. As you can see, there are some white splashes on the outside. It doesn't look too bad, but it is mostly just appearing white on the inside. So let's get these camshafts in. I'll get in and grab all the camshaft caps and all the spark plugs in here. All the camshaft caps on, just 2 more spark plugs to go. In you go, and in you go. Then we could get this engine head cover on if we wanted to. But let's get this front end a bit more finished. In with the cam gear, in with another idle roller, on you go there. And on with this belt. Plus a lovely, lovely teal belt tensioner on there as well. Not that any of that matters, because it gets covered by this timing cover that cannot be painted. So what a failed effort that all was. But never mind. Let's get it all on. Let's get this front end complete. Just a belt to go. Maybe an idle roller as well. Yeah, there we go. One more roller. That is the front end all finished. We'll go in and we'll get these fuel injectors. I have done these in red. There's the splash of red I was mentioning about in the engine bay earlier. So we'll get that in. The intake manifold can't be painted. Just sits in that black plastic, but looks all right. Not too bad. It's definitely a better black than on this front timing cover here. We also have the throttle, which is another splash of teal, just for good measure. Hopefully this is all visible from the engine bay, but we will see a little bit later on. On with the exhaust manifold in its beautiful chrome. Can't be painted again, along with this turbocharger as well. On you go. Fantastic, looking great. Then at the back here, we've got a bit more cam gear stuff. On you go, a timing chain, in you go, and another cam gear. On you go, along with another cover that couldn't be painted. A lot of this engine sadly couldn't be painted or just didn't work in the colour. Then we got the engine head cover. I had to do it in black because it just would not take any other colour. I'm hoping this is going to look alright in the engine bay. There's not really much going on at the top end apart from these ignition coils, which are just in their base red. Unfortunately, nothing I could do about that. But there it is, all finished. Not a lot of colour on it, mostly black, as you can see there, with a few splashes of white just sort of poking through now and then with a little bit of teal. Not my favourite engine. Build-wise was very quick. Colour-wise, not very happy with it. Could have been a lot better. It's a shame these engine blocks don't paint well. Otherwise, I may have done that in white or teal. But yeah, I wish this cover could be painted. That would have changed a lot. I would have done that in white. Would have made it a lot of difference. Along with this manifold as well. I wish that could be painted. And this engine head cover, sadly, only went black. All the other colours were just way too dull on it. And I couldn't turn the brightness up any further. But I'm going to grab some pictures. Then we're going to get this one dropped in the Golf. And we're nearly ready to get this one finished off. Let's get this beautiful Golf all finished off then. Let's get the engine dropped in. In you go. Come on then. Let's have a look. Get you dropped in. Let's get the engine crane put away. Let's have a look. Well, you can see a splash of the teal with the throttle at the front there. Nothing overly special with this one, I'm afraid. Sadly, it just is what it is. That's a bit disappointing, but it still looks good. You got some black, some white, some teal, even a splash of red in there as well. Not looking too bad. Let's get it up in the air and get the gearbox in. Get the exhaust all in and the front drive axles finished. Ready for the wheels to go on. Let's see. Whoa, didn't mean to jump that far back. Well, we might as well start with the exhaust as we're down this end. Let's get this exhaust all in. Hopefully this will match up. I have bought the new front exhaust piece I was going to need. Yes, that looks like it matches up straight into the turbo. Pretty good there. On with the gearbox. I've done that in a white because why not? In with the front drive shaft and then these two front drive axles as well. And that should mean we are just ready for the wheels. I do need to get that starter in, but that has to go in from the engine bay, I believe. Let's just double check. Yes, in from the engine bay on that one. So I'm going to get that done. I've got some liquids to top up as well. Then we can get on and get these lovely wheels finished. I've got to pick which ones I'm going to go for. But just before we jump into that, let's get this starter in and get this engine bay all finished off. There it is, a lovely little teal starter. Can we see it from the engine bay? Just about in the right angle. We'll see when we come to some photos a bit later on, but I'm going to get all of these liquids topped up, get some wheels done, and I'll see you outside in a moment. Here we are then, all finished with a Litz Mark II Golf, looking absolutely fantastic in this beautiful teal colour with its UK retro plate, virtual mechanic Volkswagen Golf, looking absolutely beautiful. And these, I'm going to say BBS style split rims are looking pretty snazzy. Done them in two-tone, a bit of black, a bit of white on there, matte white going around the outside, black innards. These are the Rim 9A. They look absolutely fantastic. I've kept these factory sizes because they fit really well. 18-inch rims, 255 width with a 30 profile on there. I just changed up the actual rim to this 9A with its two-tone. All four corners, they're all exactly the same size, 18-inch. 255 width with a 30 profile. They fit the gaps perfectly, just wide enough for the car. Oddly enough, with this wide body kit, there is no ET on these rims either. They're just pretty standard, and you can just about see all my teal brake calipers just shining through there. I think they look absolutely fantastic. I love the look of this car. The engine I've put in it, the I4 BFM, is not my favourite engine. Doesn't take colour overly well. A few splashes of teal you can just see poking up through the top there. Apart from that, there's not really a lot to this one. I have done the gearbox in white as well. I think it looks pretty sweet, but sadly you can't see too much of it from the top. It's still pretty cool though. I love this mod. I do love a Volkswagen Golf. It's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let's jump in and see what he's done with the interior on this one. Very retro, even with the red piping. The red piping around the interior looks so good. With a classic tape deck. Oh, yes, some of you probably don't even know what a tape player is, but yes, this Golf does have a tape deck. Let's get this one started and see what this i4 BFM engine sounds like. Okay, not bad on the tick over, pretty consistent. Let's give it some gas. I did see a turbo in there, so hopefully French Toast has set me up with a nice bit of turbo whistle. Oh, yes, there it is. I do love that turbo whistle at the top end. And I'll be honest, not a bad sounding engine. Let's get it onto the dyno and see what power it's got. Here we are then on the dyno with the Volkswagen Golf Mark II with its i4 BFM engine, 279 base horsepower on this one. How much have we added today with the performance parts? Let's have a look. 178 horsepower, a gain of 64%, over half. That's pretty good. Putting our new horsepower at 456. Now, I'm not planning on beating any speederboard champion times today, but let's take a look at the gearbox tuning setup we've got. This is what I've gone for. Nice high starting out and output, and then bottling it down to a nice simple curve down at the end. 663 is its registered kilometers an hour. It's not going to get anywhere near that. I'll be happy with around 300 to 350 would be a good top speed, I think, from the beautiful little Golf. So let's head over to the track and let's find out. Here we are then on the track. Let's find out if French Toast was right. The little BFM engine, how fast can we get it? It's got 456 horsepower, so let's go. I have got slicks on it to keep it stuck to the road, and that is accelerating really well. I'm actually really surprised by that. There goes 200 kilometers an hour already. Heading up towards 300 kilometers an hour. We're only just in 5th gear. There's 300 kilometers an hour. Oh, we're going to smash through 350, head up towards the 400. There's 350. There was my prediction. Oh, where are we going to finish up? This Golf is a little beauty. Come on, you can do it. 383 kilometers an hour from the BFM engine. I am very, very surprised at that. So thank you very much, French Toast. Lesson learned. Always listen to French Toast. So then, 383 kilometers an hour does put this one at 42nd in our speederboard top half. I am very, very, very impressed with that. I wasn't quite expecting that. Well done to French Toast. You correctly pointed out that the i4 double overhead cam BFM engine is an insane engine that is definitely worth playing around with. And I kind of do wish I'd known that sooner. But I have to say, a bigger well done to Lit, because this Mark II Golf is absolutely beautiful. Quite possibly my favourite car in the game at the moment. I absolutely love it. We are going to get this one sold today, though. I am going to come back and do another one of these at some point. I may edit the config, I may lower it a little bit. Things like that. Just kind of perfection items, how I would do it if I was doing it for myself. Quite liking this teal blue, though. Loving the BBS style rims. Style rims, they're not actually BBS rims, obviously. And the work on this car is just absolutely beautiful. But let's go into a few facts and figures. We've already established that it is a 42nd in the speederboard, and that is very, very, very respectable. Definitely by far in the top half. 95 cars we've done now. This is episode number 97. No, 98. I'm 2 away from my 100th episode. What should I do? Should I do something special? Give me some ideas in the comments below. What would you like to see for the 100th episode on this channel? Something pretty cool, something just basic, or, you know, give me some suggestions. What would you like to see? That will be what I'd like. So we bought the car for 18,409. 2,601 credits under profit. I've spent 45,241 modifying this car today. Swapping that engine out, that was a big expense realistically. I did buy a few different type of rims to try and fit this one out. I got the wheel sizes right first time because I just kept them as standard, as it's written on here. 255 at 30 profile, 18 inch. Very simple, I keep that basic. But yes, our total spend today is 63,650. Can we make a profit on this very, very low mileage Volkswagen Golf? 35,000 kilometers, nearly 36,000. We got it from the auction house where we did get a little bit ripped off, but we have swapped that engine from the i3 turbocharged to the i4 BFM with now 456 horsepower, a gain of 64%. Absolutely incredible. But how much can we sell it for? 75,599. Take away our 63,650. Pits our profit at 11,949. That's some very good going. Very good profit on that one. But it is time to say goodbye to the Golf. Sadly. Off you go, Golf. You were definitely a lot of fun. I really did enjoy you. What have we got up next? Well, I keep going on about this competition on Discord. It is time to find out for what my entry will be. So next up is going to be my variant of the Bolt Supernova. Those eagle-eyed ones of you would already see it's a bit lower or quite wide at the bottom, and it's got the GTR exhaust on there. I've also swapped it out to the supercharged V8, as well as putting a couple of intercoolers in here, lined into some air intakes, which I think looks pretty snazzy. But you'll have to tune in on a Wednesday to see the rest of this. The competition does close on Tuesday. I will be making this video early, getting it uploaded. So if you want to see this car before it's done, head over to the Discord channel. Link is in the description below, as it is for all of my recent videos. Discord link in the description below. Head over to the Red Dot Games Discord channel. Do your own Bolt Supernova. Add it into the competition section channel down the side. Get voting. We'll see who wins. Obviously, mine will be coming up on a Wednesday's video, so nobody can get a big sneak peek. I will uploading it, but then the winner will sit on this board here next to the first ever winner of the bulk cargo, which was Pine Newton, or Pine Newton. I don't know how you quite say that, but he was the first winner. Who's going to be the second winner? Who's going to end up on the pin board? That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this content, do consider clicking that subscribe button to keep up to date with it whenever we do future videos. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.